One of the dragon from Mulan, that scene where he says, "How could you miss?" Yeah, I saw that one too. It was very funny. So about a week ago, there was a newsworthy thing. Trump got his ear pierced, and by that I mean somebody made an assassination attempt on him. There were a handful of VTubers that actually made jokes about it. Personally, I missed my shot with making a timely joke. I tweeted that one out. But the one that I saw get really dogpiled is Tricky, because, well, honestly, I don't even think she made that bad of a joke. People are just upset that it's about an assassination attempt, or in relation to an assassination attempt. Anyways, let's just jump right into it. There. So she had deleted the tweets where she made the joke, but don't worry, the best people on the internet screenshotted it, like real stand-up people. Anyways, Tricky tweets out, "I messed up with a very poor taste tweet. I made an impulsive, stupid joke in the heat of the moment and immediately regretted it. I jumped the gun," I see what you did there, "not knowing the full story of the situation, to jump on the bandwagon of, quote, missing your shot tweets, believing that no one was harmed. I have educated myself now, and I'm incredibly sorry. While I'm all for a good joke, this was not one of them, and it was highly insensitive. I would never advocate for anyone getting hurt. It was a childish mistake. The JK tweet was an attempt to lighten the mood, but it made it seem even more insensitive to a serious situation. I am very sorry." The, quote, not giving a fuck tweet was directed at a replier, not the situation itself. Oh man, like, one of the dragon from Mulan, that scene where he says, "How could you miss?" Yeah, I saw that one too. It was very funny. Oh crap, I'm even more mad that Haya Raichik and her ilk are now doing the same to working class people and getting them fired. Like, yeah, fucking libs of TikTok. I'm pretty sure libs of TikTok was crying about how Stone Toss was getting doxxed and shit, and then she's going and getting fucking a cashier at Best Buy, or not Best Buy, Home Depot fired. Like, the people that are making the jokes on Twitter are not the fucking problem. It's the fucking people in power. Like, the person... Anyways, so what was the actual joke that Tricky had made? Well, Kirshtir and Rev Says Desu had saved the screenshots. Tricky had tweeted out, "Remember to always shoot your shot. Sir, surely you won't fucking miss. Not the time or place, Tricky. I don't give a fuck. The unfollow button is right there." So this was a conservative being mad that, oh, I'm purposely forgetting Grums. Fuck Grums. That's what I heard, Natalie. I had heard that he was kicked out of the gun club for not being a good shot, and, well, given the situation, I believe it. You can joke about Trump getting an ear piercing, but just a reminder, you should never endorse murder, guys. Well, yeah, you don't want to murder people, but I'm not going to shed a tear for somebody that's actively supporting an insurrectionist. I don't care if they get shot. And we're going to get into that a little bit more. Ganging up on Tricky and others. Who were the others that got dogpiled? I just saw people jumping on Tricky over this. Yeah, there's huge hypocrisy from the right criticizing jokes from the left. Like, they incite violence a lot and have been for years. Yeah, like, the right love to make their jokes about Paul Pelosi and Hammer Time. Like, even Trump Jr.'s... Yeah, Trump Jr. made that joke. Oh, the Jack Black situation is frustrating. Like, Jack Black laughed on stage at Kyle Gass's joke and then fucking posted that tweet or the Instagram of how it was bad to make those jokes. Yeah, it said stream disconnected for a second. I'm betting it's the FBI trying to silence me. It's totally not just some random glitch that happens once in a while. Trump did January 6th. That wasn't even a joke. Yeah, no, like, with January 6th, fucking, what was it? With Trump doesn't even deny that it was an insurrection. his defense is that you can't impeach me, or you can only charge me if I was impeached as president. And then, like, they argue that presidents can't be impeached because they're above the law bullshit. And then now that he's no longer president, you can't impeach him because he's not currently president. It's stupid. Not to mention the fact a firefighter died protecting his 2 daughters and wife during the attempted assassination is what started the skirmish too. What, did he bring his daughters to a political rally? Yeah, these damn glitches. They're the worst. She already explained in her apology that she didn't know that when she made the joke. Like, literally. Are people just wanting to forget that all the shit that Trump has done, and like there's so many people still supporting him. They want the dictator to take over their country and they'll throat his cock over it. But if you make a joke, you're the bad one. When the right wing are literally trying to stop democracy. I just remembered that the shooter was a Republican, but I'm wondering why he did this. To my knowledge, the shooter, Thomas M. Crooks, was a registered Republican, but hadn't actually voted. And, I believe he was 17, like almost 18, not quite able to vote in the 2020 election. However, he was looking up a lot of different kinds of politicians, both Democrats and Republicans, right before the shooting happened, kind of thing. And it just seems like Trump's rally was the closest one. So I don't actually think he was on one side or the other. I think he was a very damaged person that did not have their mental health treated and then had access to firearms. Plus, I don't see why the same people complaining when politicians say, God save Trump, assuming their God chose not to save the other guy who was killed. Well, yeah, they saved Trump by killing that father, obviously. And remember, God saved Trump, but he didn't save the Uvalde school children that were shot. Anyways, so there was also a skirmish between Destiny and Kirsch a little bit regarding the same situation. Seems like a Dylan Roof incident trying to spark a war or something. Honestly, at this point, it's been a week and we still don't fully know the motivations. Personally, I thought a manifesto would have dropped by now, but we will see. Anyways, I don't know what started any sort of beef between Kirsch and Destiny, but this caught my eye. And yes, this is an out of context clip, and we're going to look at Kirsch responding to the clip, so stay mad.
Destiny literally streams himself being cucked. He doesn't have shame. He's out here saying he'll sleep well if bad things happen to his parents. If they get killed at a rally, he's saying, yeah, I'll sleep comfortably. They made their bed, they can lie in it. He's out here mocking and making fun of people that got shot because they're Trump supporters.
Yeah, Destiny was saying he is consistent with this. I believe people were asking him, well, what would you do if your parents were shot at the rally? And he said he wouldn't shed a tear. He wouldn't lose any sleep if his parents endorsed an insurrectionist and went to a rally to support that insurrectionist. That would be the bed they laid in. He's very much against insurrection. Odd.
All jokes are acceptable, and immediately after a tragedy is typically the best time to make a joke about said tragedy.
I'm not a very easily offended person, but watching that video got me thinking, dude.
Okay, apparently Kirsch's defense for this is it's okay to make fun of the tragedy, or it's okay to make jokes about a tragedy as long as you're making fun of the person perpetuating the tragedy and not the victims. But, I mean,
what the hell are you thinking? Some subjects are simply not to be talked about. Hashtag new rules. Well,
No, I completely disagree with that. It's like the most recent shooting I haven't gotten to talk about on stream yet. There was another transgender shooter that went to a church in Texas, and as far as I know, only 2 people got hurt before the police neutralized the transgender shooter. So we still haven't gotten the complete first Tranifesto. I don't know if there's a Tranifesto for the Texas church shooting, but hopefully we'll get one. Apparently they also had Free Palestine written on their weapon. I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to go through all of this on stream, but it's like, if we're going to start seeing a trend of these
5 months, it
so-called
said?
transgender
Yeah, I thought
people
so.
shooting up churches.
Right there, she was playing into the rhetoric of an epidemic of trans shooters. Like, isn't there... How many are there? 5 trans shooters that have happened? When there's well over... Like, there's hundreds of mass shootings that take place. Honestly, I've been growing a little more fond of Destiny lately. Just catching up a little on chat. She's just spreading random shit she's seen on Twitter. I mean, that's what I do too, so I'm not gonna call her that bullshit. Like, literally, that's half my channel. Anyways, Kirsch responded. I heard some people saying he was Asian, and that's clearly wrong. Wait, people are saying who was Asian? Thomas Crooks? He's clearly a white dude. I don't think there are any jokes about the Titanic's captain. Give me a sec. No, I really can't think of any joke about Titanic's captain. I guess it just went down with the ship. I'm just having real joke iceberg. Happy someone big is finally calling out for her lies. Well, you actually look into stuff and it's not random. You show us the tweets you talk about. Fair enough, but let's be real. I'm not actually doing a whole lot of deep diving into tweets. Most of my quote-unquote research is just seeing tweets pop up on my feed and I hit bookmark. Though, honestly, it's been getting a little harder to find the stuff to talk about, because, like, I tend to mute accounts nowadays. I don't bother blocking. I don't care about what you have to say anymore. Mute. And then it's like, oh, now I'm not getting discourse as much. Funny how that happens. When you look at that kid, you hear Weird Al's White and Nerdy. Yeah, I get that. So anyways, Kirsch responded, Destiny seems to be so angry at getting demonetized or banned everywhere for making fun of shooting victims, he has to take time to clip me out of context and have his goons try and contact my sponsors. Making fun of a person perpetuating a shooting is always okay, because these people should not be revered or placed on a pedestal. It's very weird that anyone would think you shouldn't make jokes about a shooter. But maybe Destiny thinks I am wrong since it was a church that was attacked. There is 0 jokes where someone expresses a shooting victim deserved it. It's not a joke when someone wishes a shooter didn't miss a target. I think you can joke about anything. Not all of them are going to be funny, but you can make jokes about anything. It's not a joke when someone wishes shooter didn't miss a target. These are statements. Do not let other people shift the narrative into making you argue about jokes. We're arguing about jokes right now. That's what this is all about. If these people didn't lie to you, they'd have nothing. These people have to lie to you because they hate you and they want to see you destitute. You guys remember that Kirsch was banned from Off-Kai because some staff members felt uncomfortable with her attending? Well, I can see why, given this clip that she posts.
Humor is a matter of taste, but if you think anything in that video is funny or lol so true, then your taste is bullshit. If you think it is a funny joke or a parody, you aren't welcome anywhere near me. Bye.
Bye.
Hashtag ugh, ableism, racism, sexism, violence, trigger word
The
violence,
Latin word government
transphobia.
literally means mind
Judging
control.
by the user
Oh,
icon,
no.
this person suffers from some medical disease that makes it impossible to look at a camera when taking a picture of themselves.
It's just a
Hopefully they
MySpace
find a
angle,
cure one day.
Jimothy.
Fuck, making so many of these goddamn people that cry the crocodile tears won't show their face because they're not going to dox themselves. Personally, I think they just don't want their shit opinions tied to their actual faces. Like, I don't care enough to switch on my secondary camera right now, but my oldest videos on this channel, I was a flesh tuber. I don't care. I actually say my shit with my chest. But hey, that's just me.
Globix85 writes, okay, a new rule is in effect. If I ever see the Welcome to Tumblr video on my dash, the post will be blocked, and if you're not a friend of mine, you will be unfollowed. Why, you may ask?
I don't know what that video
Making
is.
fun of some things that are legitimately serious issues to people is acceptable, and the video is in very poor taste.
All jokes are acceptable, and immediately after a tragedy is typically the best time to make a joke about said tragedy.
I'm not a very easily offended person, but watching that video got me thinking, dude, what the hell are you thinking? Some subjects are simply not to be talked about. Hashtag new rules. Well,
No, I completely disagree with that. It's like the most recent shooting I haven't gotten to talk about on stream yet. There was another transgender shooter that went to a church in Texas, and as far as I know, only 2.
Okay, we're back into the clip where Destiny was posted. What does crocodile tears mean? I hear it often, but I don't know. Basically, it's like when somebody is saying, "Hey, Joestar." Fuck, like I don't have a defined definition or definitive definition over it. I'm just going off of context clues. I'll be completely honest there. But it's basically when people are pretending to cry. I don't really know why it's called fake being sad. That's what it is. Yeah, I just don't know why it's called crocodile tears. But yeah, crocodile tears is where they're faking actually caring about the stuff they're talking about. The added context doesn't make anything better for Kirsch tears so far. Oh, it gets worse. Don't worry.
2 people got hurt before the police neutralized the transgender shooter, so we still haven't gotten the complete first Tranifesto. I don't know if there's a Tranifesto for the Texas church shooting, but hopefully we'll get one. Apparently they also had Free Palestine written on their weapon. I don't know. I haven't gotten a chance to go through all of this on stream, but it's like, if we're going to start seeing a trend of...
Maybe because crocodiles don't cry, but they do get water around their eyes often. Yeah, I could believe that one. Because in the South, we have some weird sayings. I fully believe that one. I have heard some weird Southernisms that are just kind of wild to me. Like, you know what's wild to me? The Southernism Coons Age. Because, like, the first part of that has been used as a racial slur for a long time, but that term predates the racial slur. It actually is about how people used to see raccoons so often they thought they never died. They thought they were literally immortal. So the history of the term Coons Age is older than the racial slur, and it's insanely dumb. Is she doing the whole very transphobic shooting thing? That's what it sounds like. Raccoons are smart and live a long time, actually. Yeah, like they do live a long time, and they are quite smart. But back in the day, people used to think that raccoons were immortal because people were dumb and our understanding grew and grew. It was like I want to say 1800s was when that term was coined, perhaps before. Always give the raccoon to garbage.
Of these so-called transgender people shooting up churches. They seem to just be enacting the conversion therapy on themselves at this point. Like, we don't even need to try.
Know what? Right there. Doing conversions therapy on themselves. We don't even need to try. It is... I would love to hear how somebody would argue that that's not fucking transphobic. But it's a joke. It's a transphobic joke. It's still a joke. No, I don't know what a holler is.
Right? White non-Hispanic El Salvador? Yeah, literally the most Hispanic name I could think of, listed as white non-Hispanic. That's, when I first saw that, I was like, female, white, non-Hispanic. Okay, so this must be also a male, if they're lying about them being white and non-Hispanic. Sure.
Anybody know the specific shooting she's talking about? It's a small valley in the Appalachian Mountains. Oh, huh. Yeah, I didn't know that. Like, there have been at least 3 shootings in Texas when I searched, like, Texas church shooting. And I'm not exactly sure which one she's talking about. It might have been in February. I honestly can't remember. If somebody wants to link me, please do.
Surely they're also lying about them being female, right? No, apparently it's actually a biological female who thought they were a male, which also made me think of the prior Christian Academy shooting. And it's like, well, previously mostly men were mass shooters. The only woman I could think of off the top of my head was one of the Islamic shootings. There was like a sister or something that helped the guy. I want to say that was in California, but I could be wrong. My mind is not the best at recalling these things.
I honestly don't keep up with a lot of shootings. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about. I do know that the vast majority of shootings are done by men, mostly white men.
And then the YouTube shooter who didn't even get to do anything, right?
Okay, I did hear about that one. It was a person that actually managed to get into the YouTube headquarters and fire off some shots. She hit people. She didn't kill anybody. I'm pretty sure she injured at least one person before the security on the ground or at the fucking headquarters boxed her in, and then I think she killed herself.
But San Bernardino, that's the one I was thinking of. Thank you. Thank you. So now we get these biological women claiming to be men perpetrating shootings. Is it all the testosterone? If they're hyped up on testosterone, is that what's going to finally bring female shooting statistics in line with males?
I thought the conservative line was you can't change your sex. And here she is talking about how, hey, changing up your hormones actually does affect your body somewhat. It affects your brain chemistry. It affects your muscles. It affects a lot of things. What happens when you start changing your hormones? Yeah, she thought this extra context makes her look better. And I'm willing to bet there's more than one trans shooter, but I refuse to believe there's an actual epidemic of trans shooters. Because, like, fucking wild. Fucking wild. Also, Washington Post, thank you. The data is clear. There's no clear epidemic of transgender mass shooters. Picture of Donald Trump Jr. There's a clear epidemic of trans and non-binary mass shooters. March 28th. One thing is very clear. The modern trans movement is radicalizing activists into terrorists. Benny Johnson, production chief of Turning Point USA, in a tweet March 27th. And then, well, they go through a lot of this. So, mass killing at a small Christian school in Nashville has led to unfounded claims by right-wing personalities that transgender Americans are a potential vanguard of mass shooters. Like, I will say there's 5 trans shooters, and then there's like 150 non-trans shooters. But trans people are the fucking problem because of people on Twitter that say mean things about conservatives. And not how people like Marjorie Taylor Greene, an actual political representative of state, is talking about how is fear-mongering over trans people. Okay, police have said that Audrey Hale, the 28-year-old they identified as the shooter who killed 6 people in Monday's rampage, was transgender, citing a social media profile in which Hale used masculine pronouns. Wait, what was their chosen name then? I'm gonna just call them Mr. Hale then. The post has not confirmed how Hale identified. Okay, so that's their legal name. We don't know their preferred name, assuming they are trans. Marjorie Taylor Greene had her Twitter account temporarily restricted after she posted a screenshot of a graphic that referred to, quote, Trans Day of Vengeance, end, unquote, in the wake of the shooting. She was referring to an event aimed at protesting anti-trans legislation. Yeah, to what I know of the Trans Day of Vengeance, it's a meme. I personally don't really like playing into it because it gives the worst kinds of people online ammunition to say hey, or like to play into this fucking narrative. But, I mean, free speech, say what you want, you're free to get criticized. Twitter has also removed tweets supporting the event. During last year's mass shooting at Texas elementary school, Representative Paul A. Gosar tweeted speculation, which he later deleted, that the shooter was a, quote, transsexual leftist illegal alien. The shooter was none of those. I don't keep up with mass shootings. I have better things. His name was apparently Harry Allen for Mr. Hale. Okay, let's get into the facts. In this tweet, which received more than 10 million views, Johnson listed 4 shootings. The Colorado Springs shooter identified as non-binary. The Denver shooter identified as trans. The Aberdeen shooter identified as trans. The Nashville shooter identified as trans. In response, his tweet received a exclamation mark tweet from Twitter owner Elon Musk. These are straight facts, Johnson responded to Musk. Actually, these are facts without significant context, and the other gender identity of the shooters in some of those instances has not been established definitively. Let's take the cases in chronological order. Oh, Harry Allen was the cowboy you mentioned? I'm gonna be honest, I get a little confused keeping up with chat and shit. There are some black and white photos of him, often used as an example of trans people existing throughout history. Oh, okay. Yeah, like, the oldest example I can cite of, like, gender conforming people would be the universal public friend. Boop. Just in case anything not great pops up. Universal public friend. They would actually get mad if you gendered them wrong. They wanted to be they them. Boop. Born in November 29th, 1752. And then of course there are other cases that go older. But yeah, back in 1750 to the they lived 66 years. Wow. But yeah, look up on this person that they wanted to be always, what was it? They just wanted to be androgynous. They didn't want to be referred to as male or female. So what's the big issue? There isn't one. That's just how they wanted to be. Anyways, this shooting was last year, by the way, 2023. I'm willing to bet the shooting Kirsch was talking about does not involve the shooter being trans, and she's parroting lies that said they were. Yeah, I don't know specifically what shooting she is talking about. There is so fucking many that go on in the US. It's damn near impossible to keep up with it. And I will be fair, this article I'm reading comes from March 30th, 2023. But yeah, there's a lot of fucking shooters that the vast majority of them are not transgender. But people want to fearmonger over trans people for some reason. They're not transphobic, but there's just a lot of trans shooters. That's what they want to talk about. Okay, where were we? In 2018, in Aberdeen, whatever. A 26-year-old shot and killed 3 people at a pharmaceuticals distribution center before turning the weapon on themselves. The sheriff said the shooter had been diagnosed as mentally ill in 2016, and the Washington Post reported that a close friend reported the shooter, quote, suffered from bipolar disorder and struggled since early in high school with severe depression, partly connected to her feelings of not being accepted when she first came out as a gay teen girl, later as transgender. The Denver incident involved 2 shooters who, in 2019, opened fire at a public charter school focused on a math and science curriculum. 1 student was killed and 8 were injured. Court documents said the one shooter, 16 at the time, told investigators he intended to target classmates who repeatedly mocked him because he was transgender. And yeah, maybe don't call them or mock people that look mentally unstable. Maybe try and get them the help they need so that shootings don't happen. And this is all because people don't like using pronouns, I guess. It's the usual bully environment leading to horrible incidents. Yeah, that's a huge factor to it. There's also the ease of access to firearms in the US, but Americans don't want to talk about that. And there's also the massive issue of the mental health crisis that's going on. There are a lot of people that will, they will make their jokes and discourage people from actually seeking out therapy, as if it's weakness to actually get your shit to, get your ducks in a row. It's not a bad thing to do that. Go to therapy. It helps people, literally. Then in 2022, 5 people were killed and 25 injured at a queer nightclub by a 22-year-old shooter who claims to identify as non-binary and uses the pronouns they, them. Was that the Club Q? However, the police detective testified earlier this year that the shooter ran a neo-Nazi website, used gay and racial slurs while gaming online, and posted an image of a rifle scope trained on a gay pride parade, which just screams to me that that was somebody trying to psyop. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know non-binary Nazis. I've ran into a handful of trans women that fell down the Nazi pipeline, but honestly, for non-binary people, legit, I've never met a non-binary person that's actually a Nazi. And like for trans women to Nazis, it's like 1 in 1,000 that I've come across. And now, of course, we have the Nashville shooting. As we noted, police have identified the shooter as transgender, but that has yet to be confirmed. People just love not confirming shit and running with their narratives, don't they? In this video, Donald Trump Jr. noted that Centers for Disease Control and Prevention surveys indicate that transgender people make up 0.6% of the adult population, about 1.6 million. A Washington Post KFF poll released this month found less than a third have used hormone treatments or puberty blockers, and about 1 in 6 have undergone gender-affirming surgery or other surgical treatment to change their physical appearance. End quote. I wonder if non-binary people just have an extra level of discomfort from the strict boxes fascism tends to bring. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that has a huge role to play with it, because like there's a decent portion of trans people that just want to fit into the other box being like just being male and female, and the non-binary people tend to want to break away from that. And fascism, speaking broadly, loves to just cram people into boxes that they're easier to control. So we need to elevate the incident of mass shootings to use the metric that transgender people are 0.6% of the population. First, we should note that there is no universal definition of mass shooting or mass killing, and how individuals and groups define the term can create a huge discrepancy in statistics used to describe the frequency of these events. The Washington Post defines a mass killing as an event in which 4 or more people, not including the shooter, have been killed by gunfire. The Post does not consider factors such as location or motive, but many databases exclude killings attributed to domestic violence or gang warfare. Under the criteria for mass killing, just one of these tragedies, Nashville, would qualify for inclusion. The Violence Project counts 188 mass public killings since 1966. So with 0.6% of the population, transgender people would expect to be involved in about 1 shooting. Quote, Nashville is the first case of a trans male or trans female perpetrator in the database, said James Densley, a professor of criminology and criminal justice at Metro State University and co-founder of the Violence Project. Quote continues, we will likely update our gender coding when we code this case after more information has been revealed and verified. As for mass shootings, we will turn to the Gun Violence Project. Since 2018, the organization has counted 2,697 mass shootings under a definition of 4 or more shot or killed in a shooting incident, not including the shooter in any circumstance. This methodology would allow inclusion of Aberdeen and Denver cases cited by Johnson. With 0.6% of the population, one would expect at least 16 mass shootings to be conducted by people identifying as transgender. Instead, there are just 3 possible cases cited by conservatives. So yeah, the number is a lot higher than I expected, but I'm not that surprised. 2,600, I'm gonna go 700. 2,700 mass shootings, and there are 3. There are just 3 possible cases. Trump and Johnson did not respond to request for comment. I wonder why. The Pinocchio test. What's this? Far from any epidemic of trans mass shooters, the evidence shows that people identifying as transgender are not committing mass murder at a higher rate than their percentage of the population. 3 of them, and 3 and some are maybes. Exactly. Pinocchio test? Yeah, we're looking into it. Conservative commentators and politicians should not be so quick to make such claims without placing the facts in context. 4 Pinocchios. About our rating scale. Send us facts, boy. I hate you, Washington Post. I hate you so much. What is the Pinocchio scale? Don't make me read another. I fuck right off. Thank you. You're being helpful. Okay, whatever. So yeah, like, back on to the Trump assassination attempt, like, the most vitriol is not being generated by dipshits on Twitter making jokes. The most of the vitriol is coming from the politicians and the pundits who are making the claims of, like, epidemic of trans shooters. Oh, neat, they followed me back. Let's see. It's a lot of fear mongering. It's seriously like, oh fuck, I just closed that. Bookmarks. There was a point I wanted to make. I don't know if I already did because I'm forgetful. This call is coming from inside the house. Yeah. Okay, so back to this one. Here's Kirsch saying, this is what years of propaganda and dehumanizing language leads to. And in the clip she herself posted, she is propagandizing, and I would actually argue dehumanizing, trans people broadly by fixating on the fucking small examples of trans shooters, when broadly speaking it's not trans people that are the issue. It's what we mentioned earlier, the ease of access to firearms for mentally unstable people, and the inability for people to actually seek out mental health help. It's going to cost people up the fucking ass to actually talk to somebody about that. I think mental health struggles should actually be free. Like all bit of medical care. I guess I am biased because I'm Canadian, but you shouldn't have to pay to see a doctor. You shouldn't have to pay to see a brain wrangler. If people, at the very least, if people had more money in their pockets so that they could go see therapists, I really believe the statistics would decrease for mass shootings if people could actually talk it out. And there is so much vitriol created by people like the pundits pundits, the politicians that are claiming that trans people are the issue when it's not. They just don't want to actually engage with what we have to say. Yeah, no, fuck Trump. Trans people get death threats all the goddamn time. If some lefty on Twitter want to be edgy over an assassination, let them. Yeah, literally. I don't care if people make jokes about Trump's assassination. I make jokes about Trump's assassination. I didn't tweet him out because, like, the assassination attempt happened right before my stream, and then I had posted within my Discord politics thing, I posted some memes. I think they were funny. I didn't make the memes, I found them on Twitter and then saved them. However, I think people can make jokes whatever the fuck they want. I don't think people making jokes on Twitter is the issue. I'm going to keep nailing that home. I'm going to keep hammering that home because, like, the root of the problem is not getting addressed with this finger pointing blame game. It's not fucking tricky on Twitter making a joke of, like, seriously, how can you get so offended over remember to always shoot your shot, surely you won't fucking miss, angry face? Like, I myself have gotten Wojak pictures of trans people being hung where the noose is at an angle of the trans person and then there's 4 of them in like a fucking swastika. But yeah, let's not talk about that ever. Jesus Christ. Personally, I think they are okay with such jokes as long as they're made about people they don't like. And personally, I've said it earlier, I don't care if you make jokes about whatever tragedy you want. I care if they're funny or not, and funny is subjective. Not everybody's going to find a joke funny. Personally, I'm glad to see famous people who are progressive, like Tricky. I want to see more progressive people. Honestly, I am sad that she deleted her tweet and then fell into the, oh, I feel I shouldn't have made that joke, blah, 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 blah. Ugh. But yeah, I think I'm about done ranting about that topic. Please, for the love of God, tell me it's recording. She hasn't posted anything in a week since her apology either. Well, yeah, that's kind of what happens when people get dogpiled on Twitter. They'll stay off for a while. I'm willing to bet she'll be fine. Because honestly, the only thing that can actually stop you when you're getting dogpiled or called out on Twitter, whatever, the only thing that can stop you is you. You just gotta let them beat you down, and then you just stop, and then they win. Like, for fuck's sakes, Dr. Disrespect can still come back and have a platform, even though I don't think he should. But I can't stop him from doing that, especially since the fucking... I honestly wish that they had released the logs. This is completely unrelated, but like, had they released the actual logs of what Dr. Disrespect was saying, he can use that plausible deniability to just come back and then downplay everything, and people will eat it up. I don't know, she might have gotten harassed for it or thought it wasn't good since the guy in the stand actually got shot. I'm gonna be real, I don't have sympathy for that firefighter. Like, did Trump ever talk to the family? Or did he just kiss the dude's helmet at the RNC? I don't think Trump even cares about his own supporters. Now, I know a lot of people are saying that his name was spelt wrong on the jacket, but from what I've actually heard, that dude, that was the actual jacket he was wearing. It was a misprint when he got it, and then he kept it that way. But for real, the big issue is Trump never reached out to the family. That, and like, I honestly can't understand how people can be like, trans people are sexualizing children when literally Trump. There are so many pictures of him looking extremely inappropriate with not only his own daughter, but with a lot of underage people hanging out with Epstein and literally being charged for sexually assaulting a minor. The only reason that court case was dropped, by the way, was because the plaintiff was receiving death threats to drop the case right before the 2016 election started up. So, I don't care if that wasn't actually a... Fuck's sakes. I don't really care if that was... or if that didn't get a court ruling. In my book, that Trump is a fucking child predator. I don't care. Now, see, I guess you should have assumed something like this, but I didn't want to make assumptions. I should look into the... I am confused. What? Yeah, I've been getting issues. I feel sorry for the guy after seeing him wish for the death... Oh, hard to feel sorry for the guy after seeing him wish death Palestinians. Yeah, like, it was a dude willingly at a MAGA rally. What kind of shit do you think he was tweeting out? Wasn't Trump on the Epstein list, like, a lot? Absolutely. He was also in a fuckload of pictures with Epstein. And not just, oh, they happen to be in the same area. It was like, they're sitting with teenage girls, hands on their waists kind of thing, smiling. Like, the people that defend Trump and call trans people predators, saying hashtag leave the kids alone, aren't even looking at what Trump was doing. He is their messiah for whatever reason, and they want to lick his dictator boots. Yeah, and Trump keeps getting away with it, because he's rich. Well, my mom is unfortunately in the MAGA gang, and I think her boyfriend went to a rally while he had issues. He was nice to me and my trans brother. I'm glad that they're being friendly to you, but that's a huge warning sign if they are MAGA gang, because like Project 2025 exists and they're trying to do it and it doesn't look good. Like, I will say I am glad to be Canadian that I don't have to worry about Project 2025. However, the reason I'm pretty invested in American politics is because America is Canada's canary in the coal mine. Fucking the way America shifts, Canada likes to shift along with it. Like, we didn't have a whole lot of publicly vocal white nationalists, and then Trump wins 2016, and then Canada, a few years later, we get the fucking Freedom Convoy that cries about needing their First Amendment rights, and me, as a Canadian talking to other Canadians, I say, you get your First Amendment right. You get to acknowledge Manitoba is a province. That is our First Amendment, because we had free speech written into our actual country's law, whatever. I don't remember. It does get confusing keeping up with the Electoral College political system of America and the parliamentary system of Canada. However, there is a depressing overlap of the far right. Canada has its own problems too. But I am getting off topic. I think I'm about done rambling about this situation. I have no idea how long I've been going. It's probably been about an hour. Yeah, I just think he didn't know much about Trump and just ignore most of the yikes about him, thinking it's just people framing him. I don't know. He's dead now, by the way. Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't listen to any of the call-outs of the people they look up to because they're stuck in their camps. They just want to... They just want to feed their own biases, kind of bullshit. Okay, I am starting to run a little long. What can I end this on? It's very funny that... Oh my god, I will... Okay, I'll leave it on this meme, because it's funny. MAGA in 2020. Fuck you, I'm not wearing that face diaper. Because, you know, the pandemic, we should have worn masks to prevent getting other people sick, and MAGA didn't want to do that. And the I'm not a sheep crowd now is putting tape on or paper on their ears in solidarity with Trump getting his ear pierced. Fucking wild. Fucking wild to me. I would never wear one of those ear diapers. Like, I want to be able to hear people. I can't hear in these. God. The best thing about the pandemic is how many MAGA people it killed because they didn't get vaccinated. The saddest part about it is how it killed 1 million Americans, and a lot of people that did get vaccinated. Oh, fuck. The virus fucking mutated in the unvaccinated, and then it got around the fucking vax and killed people. But no, it's just another kind of cold. It's just another type of flu. Fucking, I hate these people. I hate these people so much, and I like it when bad things happen to them. Just want to take a quick second to thank all the people who have joined my channel membership to become one of my beeps. It means more to me than you know, and goes a long way in supporting the channel. So, thank you to all of my beeps. I'll see you all next video.